Welcome to another episode of The Profile. My name is Gary Dunn, and I'm here to interview some of the more colourful members of the Perth music industry. And tonight we have Mr. Mark Donohoe on the couch, and normally the saying is Don is good.
It is good, apparently, yeah.
And I've known you for a long time, Mark, and
Gary,
thank you very much for coming in and being a part of this.
Thanks, mate.
Getting a bit of an insight into your past and what you're doing currently. And just before we get started, I'd just like to remind our viewers that don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and if you give us a thumbs up, we'll be able to let you know what's coming up. So Mark, just going to ask you a series of questions. First one is, where were you born?
I was born in a little country town called Omeo in the Victorian Highlands, and I moved to Melbourne soon after that. I grew up in Melbourne, and when I was about 19, I headed across Nullarbor and ended up in Perth, and I've been here ever since.
Wow. In the 70s, would that have been sealed, that road, in those days? Or?
When I went across, it was. That was about 78, 79, I think it was. So it was sealed then, but it was only about 76 before, they did seal it. So, but it was still a very isolated city back there, I think, in 79, 78.
It was like a Venus flytrap. Once you got here, wouldn't let you go.
Yeah, well, I think so. I think that there was a lot of great things about Perth. There was a lot of bad things too. The isolation was sort of hard, but I think that also made it great. And it was almost like there was so many new opportunities in Perth. And I felt that there was a lot of hustle bustle in Perth, in Melbourne, and Perth just seemed to be a little bit more open, a little bit quieter and
lay back.
Yeah, it was for sure. Yeah.
So, what instruments do you play, Mark?
I'm a bass player. I'm mainly a bass player, and I dabble in a few other instruments. I play a bit of guitar, but not very well, and a few other things. Yeah. But, mostly a bass player.
We can talk about those other things later.
We can, yeah.
So, what was the turning point in your life that you said, "Well, I'm going to be a musician. I'm going to get to the
turning
stage"?
point, I suppose. Look, really, when I was in Melbourne, it was really just garage bands and having fun, and I wasn't really that serious. I think when I came to Perth, I met up with a group of people who I'd known from Melbourne, and they said, you're really good at this, you should keep going. And I kind of got the confidence, and then I think the turning point was then that first meeting with the Frames, when I met up with the other members of the Frames in an audition, and that did change my life,
So, okay, when did the Frames start? If we're getting onto the Frames, what?
So it was 1979. I was here in Perth, and there was an ad in the Sunday Times. It was after a vocalist and a bass player, two members, and I was doing auditions, and I called up, and the guy who was putting it together said, looks like we've got Dean Denton, who was playing in McLeod. Yeah. And I'd seen McLeod out there.
At the Balgarine, I saw McLeod.
Did you? Yeah. Well, I think I saw him at like the Morley Park, or one of those ones like the Dynell Hotel. And I knew that both singers in McLeod were really good, and I wasn't sure which one was which. And as it turns out, it was Dean, the one I really liked. So I was determined to get to that interview. And as it turns out, I think we were the two people that turned up, and we all got the job.
Got the job.
Yeah.
Is Don is good.
That's it. That's how it fell into place that way.
Because I think you were Battle of the Band winners in like 82 or 83. Was that at the Entertainment Centre or the?
I reckon it was 81, and it was called Masters of Music, 6IX Masters of Music.
That's right.
It was at the Entertainment Centre.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So I'd gone from playing in garage bands in Melbourne to playing the Entertainment Centre in Perth.
Wow.
It was a crazy ride, Yeah,
great move. Yeah. And because you released a single, I think, Please Listen to Me.
Yeah, we did.
Was the single?
Yeah.
But did you
After that.
Did you write that? Or
I wrote the song, and it was the prize at the time from CBS, which was a big thing. So we now had a record. So I'd done the Entertainment Centre, I now had a record with my name as the writer on it. It was a big thing. It was a big thing. Yeah. And I forget where it went on the charts. It didn't reach #1, but it was played. Yes. In commercial radio in Perth,
so
and that was a big thing.
Wow.
Yeah, but we're on radio now. It was a big thing.
And then obviously the big pubs in those days, the Overflow and raffles and that sort of stuff, and lots of people $3, $2 on head at the door. I think then it went to $3, but we're all making money. So, you know, all of a sudden the frames, everyone were driving around in these brand new cars, RX-7s. Was that an accountant saying to you, "You're making too much money, you need to spend it"?
Yeah, it was. It was the 80s, and that was exactly it. That was it. You've made too much money this year. You need to do stuff. And we said, well, what sort of things? And he said, well, you know, like lease cars. And I said, sure. So yeah, that's what we did. So yeah, it was a crazy time. There was a lot of money getting thrown around, and
girls, there was sports cars.
Yeah. Wasn't a bad life. It wasn't too bad. Looking back, it wasn't too bad, Gary. Yeah, it was. Look, it was good, and you know, the music was fun, but gee, it was a good lifestyle. Yeah.
Because I also remember, I think, seeing you on TV doing Bunnings ads. What was that? All of the frames, or how did that come about?
Oh.
Did someone work there, or
no? Well. No,
because I remember you holding up a hammer for $4.99.
The funny part about it was that I when I first came to Perth, I got a job at Bunnings before it was a retail outlet, you know, in the shipping department, and I think the boss there sort of said, you know, nothing's ever going to come of you, and you know, was glad to see the back of me when I left, and laughed about the band that I'd left to join, you know, and you know, some 10 years later, I was there promoting a product on TV ads and huge big ads in the West Australian with pictures of me and Dean and Tim hitting paint tins and singing into hoses and things. Yeah. So it was. I don't know. Our management secured some sort of deal with Bunnings, and we got paid to be part of that.
That would have been what, Pinky Hayes in the early days.
Yeah, it was probably Pinky Hayes and
Greg Green.
Or Greg Green, and we had sponsorship at the time with Pepsi and also TAA. So there was more money getting thrown around. Yeah.
Because then obviously after the frames, which was hugely successful, and you toured over east, because I remember seeing you guys when we were touring over there.
Well, we saw you there in the Mansell Room in Sydney.
That's right.
Saw Hooker and, or I think it was called, might have been called something different then.
Fun World, I think it was.
Yeah. Well, we did, I forget, 3 or 4 tours of the eastern states.
It was expensive, wasn't it? We had to obviously make the money here, save the money, and then go and spend it.
That's what we were doing. We were making all the money in Perth, playing covers. Then we would head over and we would tour for 4 or 6 weeks. And I remember living for a month in Bondi. Yeah.
I do too.
At the Cosmopolitan.
Oh mate, had some great parties in there.
Yeah, well it was crazy times, but it was good. But we'd spend all the money and we go back to Perth and have to start again. Yeah.
And it was easy to raise it here, wasn't it?
It was easy to raise it, but I think eventually the crowds got sick and tired of that, and if you're gone for too long, we lost that, and we weren't really making much ground over Easter, really at all, Yeah.
And Dean and Don then moved on,
I
suppose, at that time, Green Tavern. Yeah. I think you're probably the pioneers of the duo, if you like, because you had massive crowds lined up for kilometres. Can you tell us a little bit about all of that?
Yeah, look, it was just a strange thing when the frames finished and we sort of really didn't have a job and look, it started out as a recording project. I said to Dean, I've got this idea. I'm sort of doing this sort of country sort of stuff, and I said I want you to have a listen to it. So it was original music.
Is that where your heart is? Because
it was sort of a little bit. Yeah, it is. I think I really have a connection with country music and the stories that it tells and the simple melodies and stuff like that. And I was writing this stuff, and I said to Dean, have a listen to this. He said, this is great, let's do it. So we recorded a tape. It was called a tape. It was a tape then. It wasn't even a CD. And look, it went quite well. And then Dean said to me one day, let's do this in the pubs. We'll stand in the corner and let's pay a couple $100 or something. I said, yeah, well, it sounds all right. Yeah. At the time we were trying to get jobs, mowing lawns or whatever we were doing. And I swear, in 6 months' time, the stand in the pub for a couple $100 turned into crowds of 400 or 500, then 600, then 700, 900 closing doors, and we were back on the roller coaster. Yeah. It was pretty amazing. But now it's just me and Dean. Yeah. We learned a lot of hard lessons.
More money then?
Well, yeah. But then we started getting paid really good money. We had a Sunday session. We were earning great money. We had lots of people, and we were having a great time. And at the end of the night, all we had to do was pack up a few speakers and go home. Yeah. It was great fun. So, yeah, it happened again. It was really, really good.
Because you had a couple of hits, Smoking and Drinking. and 4 more cans to Headland.
That's right. If you call those, there was one song on women, party pies and beer. You forgot that one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't get told about that one.
No,
by
so
a
it was.
producer.
It was. Look, there was a comedy angle to it,
Yeah.
the whole thing. But we still had Dean's great voice, and he could really sing anything. So we did that for a while, and it went so well. We started to record more stuff. And we recorded this album that was a bit more serious. We were now called the Straight Shooters,
Yes.
because Dean and Don was probably getting a little bit
My
too
next question.
stupid. Yeah, Straight Shooters. And we'd sent, one day I just sent them all to record companies, management, things like that around the country. And next thing we were on a plane to Sydney, and were signed to Larrikin Records.
Wow.
And yeah.
Who joined that band? Because there was obviously you and Dean.
It was me and Dean. That was the core. That was the core.
Clint come in on that? Or Straight Shooters?
Yeah, at some point, and I think we had a few different guitarists that would make up the 4-piece, but basically it was me and Dean. And when we went over east with it, we went to they sent us to Tamworth as a Larrikin showcase.
Yeah.
And that was my first time in Tamworth, and that changed a lot of things for me as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll get onto that in a minute. Because you wrote a song for Felicity, was it?
Yeah, well, it started.
Becky.
What it started was it wasn't Felicity first. We when we did the trip to Tamworth that year with the Straight Shooters, me and Dean.
Did you fly there that year? Or did
Yeah, flew there, and I think we took John Crothers, drummer, up with us, and we had Michael Fix, who's a really well-known guitarist, who was part of Larrikin as well, and he played with us at the showcase, magnificent showcase at the Long Yard. It was really good fun, and we were playing all my songs, and Becky Cole's manager, Becky Cole was a new artist then, young artist, probably 18, 19 years of age, and the management came up to me and said, "Oh, love your songs. Would you write one for Becky?" And I said, "Yeah."
Yeah.
I said, yeah, I'll write a song. And I did, and she recorded it, and it did really well.
Pretty well, yeah.
Yeah, it did really well, and it's in fact won her a golden guitar, and
Yes.
and it still pays my emperor. It's really quite good.
I love it.
And then after that, I because I was signed to Larrikin Publishing, and they were pushing my songs, and then Felicity Urquhart was a great
That came
artist.
after.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she picked up 2 songs for her next album, and I thought, here we go, this is all I'm gonna be a writer.
So the Frames, the Bunnings, the Straight Shooters, and then you finally made it. You joined Magnificent Seven.
That's right.
You know, you recorded 3 albums. It was actually your big break, wasn't it?
Look, Mags, you know, Mag 7 was actually really good. I think that Mag 7 was perfect timing for me. With all the songwriting at that point, after those few kind of hits, it didn't go how I expected. I would then write more songs and send more songs off to people, and it got a bit. It's a bit of a lonely gig, writing songs for people that you don't know who's going to do it, and then didn't seem to have much purpose, and no one was really recording them anyway. Few people do a few things.
But the success, the fame, the fortune, the girls, and maybe not the cars, but that all sort of came back, didn't it?
Well, eventually then, after that, I suppose it did. And then I suppose what I was getting to was the Mag 7 thing was kind of great because I had a real purpose to write for.
Yeah.
And I really believe that, like Mag 7, we created something. Like we sort of took this band that was a successful band, but it was playing Rawhide and Dwight Yoakam covers in a pub, and we took it to a point where we recorded a couple of albums, and we had a couple of sort of country #1 hits, and we had a profile that we developed nationally.
Yes.
And that was a big achievement.
Absolutely.
And I really enjoyed. I think we made some great music. I think that was really unique. It had this sort of Larrikin sort of attitude. It had a country sort of tongue-in-cheek thing. And it gave me an opportunity to have a purpose to write again. And
You've got a lot to probably thank VB for.
VB in general, absolutely. Yeah.
Because hit singles, Lucky Lips, I think was one of them.
Yeah.
A Little Tropical.
Yeah.
Tell me a little about Yes or No, because I've heard on the rumour mill that April Fool's Day, I don't know what year, but ABC's John Nutting, who had quite a big show, everyone listened to, called you, because I think you, Yes or No was had a film clip of the Spanish girl that said Spanish things, and I think he might have rung you up, and I'm hoping not putting words in your mouth, going, do you understand what?
Well, what's happened here, so the song was getting played on national radio, and it had Spanish lines in it, and I'd had this idea for this song where this girl was trying to talk to this guy in Darwin who was an Australian, and they couldn't communicate. So I needed someone to write the Spanish line. So I said to the Spanish girl who we got in, I need a line that says something like, well, no, you're stupid, you can't do this, and can't you understand me, blah, blah, blah. I need to sort of rhyme. And she would say this line, okay, that's perfect. But I really didn't know what it meant.
Yes.
So John Nutting had rung me up on
live
radio and said, do you understand what these words are? Because I'm in a lot of trouble here. And I said, well, not really. So yeah, they got me.
Yeah.
They got me.
But did that have something to do with Al?
Well, I would have thought
Simpson?
that the drummer from the band probably had a lot to do with that. And but it definitely got me at the start. I just remember going, I can't believe it. And he said, well, do you know what she's saying? I said, well, no, I don't speak Spanish. It was a funny time.
Yeah, so, well, Al sort of got you in that one.
He did,
Yep.
he did.
Frames,
Yeah.
reunions, obviously you've been doing a reunion once a year for the last, 5 years?
Yeah, no, it was 2005 when we first did our first one.
Time flies.
Yeah, so we did that. That was when, Dean had first diagnosed with MS.
Yeah.
And we said, let's just get out there and have fun and do this. And, life's short. And, of course, it just kept going.
Yeah.
And now it's
got an entity of its own,
2017.
really, isn't it? It sells out.
It's another 12 years. I mean, the band in the early days, I mean, it went to about 1980, from 1980 to 1985.
Yeah.
But the lots of reunions. The second reunion went for about 8, 9 years, and this third lot's gone for 12.
Last show only.
Yeah, last show only, last show. And it's still the same 5 guys.
Yeah.
Same 5 guys. It's crazy.
Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go sideways a little bit. What was the first album you bought?
First album I bought, I remember clearly, it was a tape, and it was the double tape. So they sort of somehow spilled the whole thing on it, and it was Live in Japan, Deep Purple.
Deep Purple.
Yeah. And it was awesome.
Wasn't that 2 tapes, but?
I'm sure that my one,
really thick?
maybe I got it wrong. I'm sure they had it on one tape, but maybe But it was. I remember buying it. I remember the store I went to in Glenroy in Melbourne to get it. Yeah.
So the bands that would have influenced you would have been like Deep Purple?
Yeah, Deep Purple. I loved bands also like the Dingoes, Stars.
Yeah.
Australian bands that had that sort of country
Stars,
sort of edge.
was that?
Mick Peeling.
Mick Peeling.
Mick Peeling, yeah.
Adelaide boy.
And who's the guitarist?
It evades me as well. Old age, I think.
Yeah, that's terrible. I can't believe that. Yeah.
So what would your favourite band of all time have been?
I don't really play favourites. I don't know whether I would have a favourite band.
Yeah.
I think I'd pass on that. I think that I loved, so many bands. I know that Chisel was very influential.
Yeah.
And probably one of my most listened to bands in the early days. But that was my favourite. But yeah.
So what would the best Perth band you saw live? I know there's musicians we don't get out to see a lot. But
Yeah.
is there a memory there?
Yeah, I got a couple of memories. I think Innocent Bystanders early days, I really loved that.
Yeah.
I loved that attitude. I saw Allegiance
Right.
on their 10th birthday or something, and someone had said, you should come down and see it, and I knew a couple of the guys. That was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Allegiance
With
were
Dave
a
Harrison.
great band. Yeah. They were a great band. They really were. Yeah. So there was so many. I saw a lot of great bands in
They were
Perth.
probably the first metal.
That real
thing,
death
really,
metal thing.
Yeah.
But they were totally like they did it well.
Yeah. So if you were stuck on a deserted island, no girls, no nothing, there's no beers, no VBs, just an album. You could
Just one album.
What would it be?
Maybe something like the Eagles' greatest hits or something,
Fantastic.
or if I had nothing to do, maybe something like Frank Zappa's Joe's Garage or something. So I'd have something to kind of listen to over and over again.
So you take 2 albums?
Can I take 2 albums?
No, you can't, but you're suggesting you can.
Yeah, well, maybe let's do that.
Okay. No worries. First time I've had a guest say they're taking 2 albums. Your favourite TV show growing up?
Growing up? You mean as a kid?
Yeah. Would have been 60s.
Oh, yeah,
70s?
I can remember Mr. Ed.
Mr. Ed,
I used to like
talking
that.
horse.
Yeah, I used to love.
Wilbur.
I think that's right. Hey, Wilbur. Yeah. Yeah, I remember Mr. I thought that was a good show.
And what do you have any unfulfilled ambitions that you haven't done something that you wanted to do, or has life been full of ticks? You've ticked all the
I
boxes?
don't think I'm finished. I certainly don't. I think I've got a lot of work to do. Yeah. I don't know what that will be, but I think that I've really enjoyed working with younger people, and I think I want to continue to do that, and maybe continue to sort of mentor and produce and that sort of stuff.
Because I come and rehearse at your studios, Apollo Studios in Duncraig. There, obviously you've got a career in the studio there.
Yep.
And lots of people I know come and record there. You've got the Sunny Cowgirls.
Yeah.
You manage them? Or?
Yeah, I do. The Cowgirls, Sunny Cowgirls, have been a big part of my life. We, with a lot of artists, I sort of record albums and sort of help out some of the young people, and I'd help those girls out and did an album for them in 2004. And in 2005 they were signed by Compass Brothers and said help. And consequently I've become their manager and continued to do that now for 8 albums.
Because now in Tamworth you go for the Sunny Cowgirls. More
so these days I don't play much in Tamworth. No. I go around drinking beer and shaking hands.
VBs.
Yeah.
Can you get VB at Tamworth?
Of course you can. You get VB everywhere there. Yeah. Well, they do now. They have it specially for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's been a good ride, and I'm firmly entrenched now in the sort of the country music scene and really enjoy it. And
excellent.
Work with a lot of
people.
people.
So you'd say that's what the future holds for you? You're
not
more of that sort of thing?
Yeah, that sort of thing, not necessarily in the country music, but certainly working with people and producing albums and recording and mentoring and that sort of stuff.
I think if Dave Harrison's watching this show, you might have a new thing coming up soon.
You never know.
So, Mark, do you collect anything?
No, I don't collect anything. I don't. No. I mean, I suppose I collect a few guitars, but not seriously valuable ones or a serious collector. No, I tend to just use what I've got. Yeah, I'm not a real collector.
And I was going to ask you other jobs that you've done to supplement your music, and I know I worked with you at Cosmic years ago, was it the 90s? I think we worked together.
Yeah.
Down there, but
Cosmic was great because you were still involved in music. You were still working with musicians, and you were kind of helping out people, with the right choices in music. I really kind of enjoyed it, and also I think the funny story that John Goldsmith will tell you was that one year, because I was playing in bands and supplementing my income and working 3 or 4 days or whatever at Cosmic Sound. And one year I think I was worked full time, and I think I earned something like 28,000 back then, and I'd spent 31,500 in the shop. Yeah, John said you're the best employee ever.
Well, I had him on the show a few weeks ago and asked him who the best salesman was, and then I asked him who the worst salesman was, but
he didn't. I didn't get any of those. No.
So,
I also worked, after that, worked with Kevin Buddy Wilson. For 9 years, and that was spectacular. And I still work with Kev on certain things, and that's been really good because once again that's so much involved with music, and he was into producing other things and film work and all that sort of stuff. So that's been really good as well. Yeah.
So more of the studio thing and just throwing your stuff out there and just seeing who comes in and see what new projects you can work on.
Yeah.
You've got an open mind, obviously, to...
Yeah, I think so. Just see what comes along. And I still enjoy playing. Yeah. I still enjoy playing, and I want to continue to play. I think playing's just keeps you in touch a bit.
Yeah. Well, we did a gig at Burswood the other week.
Yeah, that's right. Well, there's always gigs
50th
coming up.
birthday, and that was great, wasn't
Well,
it?
they are. I think playing's good fun, and you know, I think there was a point where I'd had enough.
Yeah.
And I've probably stopped playing live for about 2 or 3 years. You know, my kids were young, and I was sick and tired of getting home late, and getting up early, and being the only sort of dad at sports day that smelled of alcohol and had 2 hours sleep. You know, and but then, you know, a couple of years later, you're just waiting for the phone to ring and hoping it'll ring.
It's just something that never leaves you, isn't it? And
Yeah.
There's nothing that can describe it. It's just, you live for it. Rather
Yeah, and you get, I think, a good thing about a musician is, well, certainly there must be a point where maybe it goes backwards, but you get better.
Yeah.
You get better every year. It's not like you're getting worse.
Yeah.
So you kind of feel like there's still a passion there for playing, and I still want to do it.
And it's nice to play with a lot of different people, isn't it? And,
Yeah.
and just meet different people and have that experience.
Yeah, how much you learn from other people, and is
Because when you were
awesome.
younger, you were like, well, this is my band. You know,
Yeah.
I'm impregnates this or whatever. And
you learn so much more when you get out there and play with different people, good
maybe
and
it's
bad.
just growing old, you just relax more. And
Yeah,
because we are old now.
we are getting old now, Gary.
So, last question: what would you put on your gravestone, Mark? What?
Oh God, what would I put on it? Look, I don't know. I would hope that someone would put on it, you know, words like, you know, passion and dedication and hard work and loyalty, integrity, stuff like that. You know, I think that I think I've tried to do the right thing, and I think I've tried to help people and be influential in people's lives, and hopefully I've had a laugh along the way.
Yeah.
So hopefully that sort of comes out there somewhere on my gravestone. You know?
I think you've got a lot of respect, mate, around the traps, and you've always tried to help people out, and I think that's great. And just keep on going, man.
Thanks,
and,
Gary.
Thanks for coming in.
No worries, man.
I
No
really
worries at all.
enjoyed talking to you, and
It's good fun.
the Don is good, and thank you very much for joining us again tonight on the Profile.
Memories just fade and go. But now life's so lonely. But now life is only just to pass the time. Pass the time. You know I can't hide this hurt inside, but I'm too proud to cry, and I just can't see why you won't even try. try.